Klaus hath been injured in the midst of night. An unknown assailant entered their home and struck him down. We found him lying here by the workshop, by the workpress, whatever, bleeding from a head wound. We went to get the doctor, and unfortunately, we get the information that he will likely succumb to his wound, and all we can do is make him as comfortable as is possible for however long he has. Could be weeks, could be months. All we know is that it sucks balls, and it dredges up unpleasant memories for myself. But his daughter Magdalene has graciously, or maybe not so graciously, accepted to complete the mural of Tassing's history in his place. And so we now have to find out Tassing's complete history from the very earliest things, like the pagan rituals and everything, to the Roman occupation, to the recent revolt in Tassing. And one thing we're going to do is write to Mother Illuminata, who was the last prioress who was here during the uprising. So let's start with just writing a letter, shall we? Alright, where to begin? Dad told me the last prioress of Kiersau knew something about the old history of Tassing. There's also the book the Baron had that was stolen, presumably by Martin. Which again brings Martin kinda a little bit back into the whole suspects list. Because, you know, he did run away, but he could have just been hiding nearby and kept dropping notes. But also Sister Gertrude is still at the top of my suspect list for being the puppet master. He said she became the abbess of a convent in Bologna, Mother Illuminata. Yes, at Santa Margherita. I should write to her. Santa Margherita, a small town in the Republic of Genoa along the coast of the Ligurian Sea. I have no idea where any of these places are. And I can't get into my journal from here. Where did we say? The Ligurian Sea? Republic of Genoa. Maybe we can look at the map of Europe and find out exactly where that is. If I remember. I will probably forget it immediately while we're writing this letter. Let's see. What to write? We can start with Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita, formerly Prioress of Kiersau Abbey. That is very formal. Formerly librarian, sure. No, let's be very formal, because we, as Magda, haven't met her. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita, formerly Prioress of Kiersau Abbey. I learned my lesson from not, with the whole interaction with the Baron, using his Christian name, which he didn't like. Let's be very formal. My name is Magdalene Druckeri. I do not believe we ever met, as I was very young when you left Kiersau. Yes. Could just say that? We're no. Let's be extremely formal. You were acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before that terrible fire consumed the place and burnt a certain artist to a crisp. I am writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rat House. It is going to tell the history of our community and of Kiersau as well. We have only legends and folklore, since of course all of Kiersau's books were destroyed in the fire, as was the poor artist Andreas Mahler, who went back in to rescue some books for some reason. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of the town when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the abbey itself, we would also be very glad to hear of it. We would appreciate any help you could give us, and we hope you are well. I mean, this is I mean, it's the logical thing to do to write to Mother Illuminata, but depending on how far away she is, this might take quite a while to get back. It could take a week or a month to get there, and then a week or a month to get back, not including the time that Mother Illuminata has to pen the answer. And then we actually have to paint the mural. And there's no guarantees that Klaus will survive for that long. Anyway. My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the sisters after the fire. Yeah, that's nice. My father always spoke highly of you, especially how you cared for the library and its books. I mean, either appeal to her humanity or appeal to her caretaking for material things. My father always spoke highly of your piety and intellect. That's just flattery. Let's not use that. If you would not mind a personal question, was it hard to return to Italy after being here for so many years? Ooh, that has nothing to do with the mural, so no. How you cared for the sisters after the fire? God bless you. Magdalene. It took us 2 hours to write that. Sure, it's now 8 in the evening. Go to sleep. If I want to finish the mural before Christmas, I should start planning tomorrow. I should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. Should you? How about we looking on your father? How's your father doing? Is Klaus doing okay? Oh, Magdalene. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. Are you really? You go on. Alright, I'll come back and check on you later, in the morning, after a good night's sleep. There are freaking mice everywhere in these houses. Not surprising. We can't go outside. I was planning on taking a little evening stroll, but I guess we go to sleep. It's late. I should get some rest soon. How about now? Because there's no point in staying awake. Let's go to sleep. Just flip off your loafers? Not sandals. Comfortable shoes? Oh, holy shit, how long are we sleeping for? We went from October to November. The 6th of November. Okay, so I guess she did all the planning herself? Okay. Ah, Mistress Röckerin, I have a few letters here addressed to you. Reichspostman. That's a nice and grand title. Ooh, sealed by wax as well. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Ooh, there were actually a few letters. Mother Illuminata wrote back to me. I hope her response helps me paint the mural. Because we also needed to go and talk to all the villagers about the earlier thing. I was actually looking forward to that. To going around talking to the villagers, getting the pagan history of Tassing. A little more than we already have with all the goddess whose name I can't remember and the wild hunt and everything. But no. Oh, Mother Illuminata, hello. Mistress Drickerin, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. It doesn't, but thank you. I remember you both, as your father would carry you between the rows of our library in its final years. I also remember your late mother and brother. God keep their souls. While we did have some books that discussed Tassing's past, it is likely they were as mythological as what your neighbors believe. That said, I do remember one of the peasants, Tillman Krautzer, read about the history of the town. Oh yeah, Black Till. He did enjoy reading books. I remember that. I know he died during the revolt, goddammit, but perhaps his family knows some of what he learned. I should also say that it's not true that all of Kersaw's books were destroyed by the fire. I do remember Andreas actually getting some books out. Don't know which books. We were never told which books. We just saw a small stack of books before he went back in. Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames. God rest his soul. He did indeed. He did indeed. In the aftermath of that terrible, terrible night, cataloguing and preserving the surviving books was not at the top of any of our minds. Even so, this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Kersau, the Baron of Murder Rothvogel. Just, clicked around. He had mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassiae, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. That book was stolen. We don't know who stole it. I am suspecting Martin Bauer. I had forgotten about it until now, because the murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. It troubles me now because I recall that the late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia Tassiae shortly before he died. So it seems that people who delve into the history of Tassing end up dead. We never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library and went up with everything else. Even though the library was mostly, well, I guess the shelves and stuff were of fire, were of wood and paper, so that burned, but sure. Perhaps Lucky Steinauer took it from the Baron after the murder. Still not sure if he actually killed the Baron. Though, given the stonemason's motive, it seems unlikely. Then again, only God knows what he did and why he did it. Miklaus Haberl, whoever that is, oh right, the Baron's manservant, believed it may have been stolen by the town thief, Martin Bauer. What did you look like? You look like that. Oh, this is what Martin looks like now, yes. Yes, that's also what I believe. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man has passed from this world, well, perhaps his family knows where the book wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear that was also lost in the blaze. However, as sacristan, Prior Matthew learned a great deal about the subject. Not the project, but the subject. Sacristan, a appointed official in a monastery responsible for maintaining the sacristy, where vestments and objects used in ceremonies are kept. The sacristan is also often the treasurer. Although not in this case, because I think Guy was, or at least the bookkeeper. This is what Matthew looks like now. Nice. And Guy stole money and he burned for it in the mill. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know that he is now the Archdeacon of Sion. Sion. Once a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, Sion became the capital of Valais when the canton joined the Swiss Confederacy following the Swabian War in 1499. He is no longer a Benedictine, but uses his family name. Pausigny Saw. Sure. If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before snow covers Valais. Valais, a canton in the Swiss Alps. Valais became an associate member of the Swiss Confederation in 1529. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend to the abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from passing. That's gracious of you. I pray that you have seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. As long as you are truly repentful? Repentful, is that a word? As long as you truly regret what you have done, I'm sure God has it in his heart to forgive you. At least after the whole Jesus Christ and New Testament part. Old Testament God? No, he would have freaking tore your soul a new asshole and throw you down into the hellfire. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margherita. I see, we're gonna write to Matthew, huh? Oh, Esther wrote to me as well. How fortunate that the letters arrived on the same date. Didn't we write to Esther? Oh, was it just days between? Whatever. Hello, Esther. That's a nice looking place you live in. My dear Magda, my parents were glad to hear from your father. Please tell him they wish to hear from him soon. Well, that might be a bit of a problem. We wrote the letter to Esther before, luckiest stonemason. Klaus, before Klaus was attacked. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I've made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elisha has taken to making his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Who is Elisha? Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the markets. Probably your brother then. She set him scrubbing the floors for it. Took him 3 days. I'm glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. Though really, if you don't plan to stay in Tassing, you ought to come sooner rather than later. There are plenty of beautiful young Christian men around town, printers and academics alike. Or maybe something else. You'd have your pick. Prague is a good city for me as well. Before the expulsion, there was a handsome man at the synagogue, Simon, who caught my eye. His father is a merchant, and he is a doctor. He went to the University of Padua. Can you believe it? I'd quite like to marry him, if I can find him again. Anyway, I think you'd have even better luck than me. The boys would swoon at a beautiful blonde artist from the Alps. Please keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come see when it's finished. Blessings. Esther. Oh, that's nice. Well, I'll have to write Esther back tonight. I should head home and check on Dad. Okay, you should also write to Matthew. Hey, Dad. How are you feeling? Magdalene. Sitting upright is still a struggle, I'm afraid. Yeah. Sorry. Flashbacks. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I would rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I can bring up something light, like milk or broth. Oh, no, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, Where are you off to? Well, I need to get started on the first part of the mural today, the old history. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Hassing's early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather told him any stories. Illuminata said he used to read about the Romans. He sure did. Oh, you kinda do look like your father. He sure did love them Romans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene? Right? Yes, Mother Illuminata. Young Kreutzer has mentioned those tales from time to time, yes. He comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually when he's found some interesting old ruin out in the fields, you might ask him about that. Il Peter's always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. As did old widow Kemperin. She also did that. Ottilia? Or whatever. I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. You might stop to talk to him. I might. I didn't think of that. Thanks, Dad. Of course, Magda. It's nice to feel useful, even if I'm stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. You might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in these woods around town than anyone else. Not very surprising, considering that's where he spends most of his time/life. That, and he's a known gossip. Yeah, he's always been kind to me when I chat with him. I'm certain he'll know something about the ruins. You may hear something worth your while, at any rate. I'll go talk to him. For sure. What about the ruins of the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever is left over from the Romans and before. Well, good news for you. If you go deep into the forest, there's a ruin there, and if you happen to jump down the hole, you can get into the aqueduct and you can do some ruin diving. Someone did that 18 years ago. I'm sure it's still accessible. The salt mine and Roman ruins are the oldest parts of Tassing, so it only makes sense to see what they left behind. Ah, you take after your mother. She was always thorough in her research. You always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Oh, well, be careful, alright? I know the twins mess around near the salt mine, but I don't want you getting hurt. The twins? Right, someone had twins. Fraternal twins. I don't remember who. I guess Jorg. I don't know why Jorg doesn't keep them in line. Always making trouble, those two. Artemis and Apollo. No need to be a bitch about them here. And don't worry about me, Dad. I'll be careful. No need to add to his worries. Good. I still need you to run the press for a little longer, after all. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? We still have a household to run. Don't worry. I'll get everything done. No need to sigh in frustration because there's unfortunately no one else to do them right now. That's my girl. I'd better get going if I want to do all of that today. I will see you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. Please be alright. The missing book. Let's see. Mother Illuminatus' letter suggested that Martin Bauer, or his family, might have a book on Tassing's history. She also thought I should write to Matthew, Kirsau's old sacristan, about the Christian history of the town. Il Peter has been around forever. He might remember some of the old stories. Blacktail's grandfather read a lot about Tassing's history. Maybe he's made it a family tradition. Smoky Curler spends all his time in the forest. I think he might know something interesting about the ruins. Or the mines. So many choices. So little time in a day. Where to start? I guess we can't write to Matthew right now. That might be an evening thing then. I mean, the Bower is close to the forest, so I guess we can go to Martin, then the forest. Then say, I don't even know where Till lives. Blacktail. Let's go talk to Martin. Hello, Martin. I am here. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Oh, you know, he's enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. Oh. Slurred speech? I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place, thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. Whatever do you mean? Well, don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townsfolk has whispered shit about me for years. Well, maybe if you hadn't acted like a little shit, they wouldn't. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. An honest man. Not a honest man. An honest man. I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. How about before then? You were a thief, weren't you? I've pulled my weight around here. Tilled the soil, salted the meat, provided for Brigitta and crafts. However, you did run away, and while you ran away, your son died. I still don't have the... I understand the whole timeline between him running away and everything happening. Because at one point it sounded like he was gone for years, and at another point it sounded like he returned just weeks after Andreas left Tassing for the first time. I just don't know. Put that over there. Don't even get me started on Agnes. What about Agnes? No need to be confrontational here. Always nagging at me, saying I'm a disappointment compared to Lucky. I wasn't even here when he died. Therein lies the problem, don't you think? The wife's dad was executed, and you weren't even around to grieve with them. Not exactly. She thinks it's my fault. She wanted me to take the fall for killing the nobleman. Oh. But it was that ass-licker Mahler who got Lucky killed, not me. Wishing I'd die doesn't change that. So now he's an ass-licker, eh? Lucky got himself killed. Andreas just figured out it was him. Except we didn't. We still don't know the motive. I mean, it's likely, considering all the out of all the suspects we had, Lucky being the murderer is the most likely. But still not an ironclad case. Whatever. None of this is my problem. Agnes is a bitter crone who should leave me be. I've done enough back-breaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamned rest? Why are you always getting into fights anyway? Sometimes an asshole just needs to get his teeth pounded in. Does beating the shit out of someone really solve a problem? Maybe. Don't want to solve problems, though. Don't have the patience anymore. Had enough. Just want what I'm owed. Right, I've lost enough time to this as it is. Time for you to go. Wait, I almost forgot the reason I came to you. I'm trying to learn about the history of Tassing. I was told that you might be able to help. Me? What do I know about history? Mother Illuminata told me you borrowed a book of local history from Baron Rothvogel. Mother Illuminata? Oh, you mean one of the old nuns from the convent. Sure, a book. I might have taken it back then. Might have. That was a lifetime ago. I can't remember the book or what I did with it. Those years are a blur. Probably threw it away somewhere or left it at home. Wouldn't have been much for me to do with the book. I can't read. Too unique for me to have sold, too. No one outside of Tassing cares about its history, anyway. Well, maybe I should ask Brigitta if she remembers anything about it. Yeah, sure, couldn't hurt. It was decades ago, but she's the one who remembers shit. Thanks for the help, I guess. Uh-huh. If there's nothing else, I've got work to do. Why is Martin like that? Do you know something I don't, Magda? Until later, Martin. Until then. That was weird. Why would you say his name mockingly? Magda? Or am I just reading way too much into it? I'm probably reading way too much into it. Magdalene, how are you keeping? I'm eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. I'm certain it will be the pride of Tassing when you're through. You've always had your mother's talent for art. And how is your dad? You're one of the only people who've asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. Who cares? His mind is fading. I pray for him every night. Or no, this one. Yes. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Yourself disappears behind the need of the person you're looking after. I worry about you carrying that weight alone. Caring for someone can be an arduous task, even if you love them. Yeah. It's all right if you find it challenging. The Lord sees your labors for your dad and admires them. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. Well, God has this whole non-intervention thing going, so God can't do shit about this. Sorry to say. We alone are responsible for what happens on the earth. There's no divine intervention here. I don't know what I'll do if he dies. When he dies. I feel crazy even thinking about it. Should the worst come to pass, you will not be alone, Magdalene. Believe me. It may feel like you are, but... Have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? Yeah, I'm gonna pack up and leave for Prague and find me a good Christian husband and settle down. Yeah, I would have to get married. You remember what happened to Ottilia? Ah, that poor woman. But you're a good girl, Magda. There are any number of families in Tassing who would be happy to take you. Well, I'm not staying in Tassing. You have someone in mind, don't you? I promise you I do not. Ah, such a modest girl. Your dad raised you right. I mean, it's, of course. He's about as subtle as his father, God rest Otto's soul. Ah, I miss him. I wish I'd got to meet him. Properly, I mean. I know I picked this, but I'm not a fan of talking shit about people behind their back. I'm more of the... I mean, we all talk about other people, and sometimes we mention their flaws, and sometimes we talk about their good things. But I'm mostly the kind of... One of my principles is basically, don't say anything about someone you wouldn't be able to say to their face. And I try to keep to that as much as possible. Sometimes I fail, of course, but I do my very best. So we're not gonna talk shit about Utz, unless we do it to his face. I wish I'd got to meet him. Properly, I mean. He made an impression, that's for certain. Oh, the girls around town knew better than to moon after him, though that didn't stop some of us. He got Ava in the end. Yeah, he was Ava's from the start. As Utz appears to be yours. Huh. Ugh. No. But if nothing ever comes of that, you know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Kraft's a nice boy, if a bit immature, but he's still growing. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have you as a daughter. Any family would be lucky to have as a daughter. Sometimes words are missing. I don't mean to be rude, but I would prefer to decide in my own time. Lots of words missing in this act, it seems. All right, I will let it lie. You know, not every marriage may start off on solid footing. But if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. If it's not working out, how can you be sure a couple belongs together? Well, God knows. He brings people together for a purpose. We don't need to understand it, only to have faith in providence. Nah, I think I'm more a fan of choosing for yourself. No arranged things here, thank you very much. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said, whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Oh, before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin is supposed to have stolen it from that baron who was killed years ago. 25 years ago, to be exact. Do you know what happened to it? Oh. I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble, but I still have it, hidden in a drawer. Martin left it behind when he ran off. So he robbed the Baron, went home, left the book, took the jewelry with him, ran away, got robbed by highwaymen, became a highwayman himself, came back. Okay, sure. Yeah, he went to all the trouble to take it, but he didn't bring the book along. Martin was a thief, but he wasn't stupid. I'm sure he realized that no one would believe he had come by the book honestly, so he couldn't sell it. So why did you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was, holding his stolen book. Yeah, that would have looked mighty suspicious. I didn't want Martin to get into any more trouble than he was already in. I never read it, though. I don't read well. Well, at least you sounds like you read better than Martin. Can I have it? I don't know. I need it. I need to reference it for the mural. Let's be honest. But won't everyone wonder where you got the ideas? I've been talking to people all over town. They'll think I got the ideas from them. Oh, all right. I'd like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of difficult times, of different times, of difficult times, of a different time, of another time. A stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it's spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Yeah, maybe, who knows? Here you are. Please don't tell anyone I had this. Ah, Historia Tassiae. Oh, it's in Latin. I can understand a few words and phrases. I'll take a closer look in the evening. Thank you, Brigitte. You have been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigitte. Until later. Ah, so we have the book and we're gonna read it this evening, eh? 2 copies. Fine, right, yes. Brigitte gave me the copy of Historia Tassiae that Martin... Excuse me. An aggressive doorbell ringer visits later, and we are back. Let's see, where was I? Brigitte gave me a copy of Historia Tassiae after Martin had stolen it when the Baron visited Tassing. She was nervous, but eventually let me keep the book. Perhaps I should sit down to read it thoroughly soon. Perhaps I'll learn something for the mural. Soon meaning this evening. And then we can't get to the forest from here. But it's very nice living in this village. If my father be dying, which he's gonna do eventually because he's succumbing from his head wound, someone in the village will take care of me, unless I choose to move to Prague. I hope I will get the chance to choose, because I don't think I want to stay in Tassing. Because this village, holy hell, it's a small village. But people keep dying and things keep getting set on fire. So, yeah. Now we're gonna go talk to Smokey, see what he knows. Hey, look. Václav is back. Interesting. Some green sometime this time of year. Yes. Yeah, Václav as well. Interesting. Anyway, I'm going to leave this here, actually. For reasons. Maybe silly, but keep this game just, considering the state her father's in, just keeps dragging up slightly less pleasant memories. And I'm anyway, going to leave this here for now. Thank you for your understanding, and thank you for making it this far. I truly appreciate it. Can't really express that in words, but I try. So yes, I really do appreciate it. Please take care of yourself, remember to be kind, and I hope that you have a damn good day ahead of you.